Hi, everyone. This is Sean Kelly at Santa Barbara City College, and this is for our Earth 102 class. I'm going to be going over sheet 22A, which is the winter constellations. Actually, I'm not going to be going over sheet 22A. I'm going to be covering all of the constellations using Stellarium. And here are the constellations you see on the front page of 22A. And on the back, we have the names of all of these objects, 22B. So I can see most of them here, and I'll go ahead and slide that up. If you need them, you might want to pause the video to be able to read the names. Okay, but I will go through these one by one using Stellarium. So let's go ahead and jump over to Stellarium. And here we are, in Stellarium, we're looking at the night sky as it appears. This is November 16th at 11 p.m. tonight, and we're looking towards the south. Just keep in mind that in 1 month, on December 16th, this will be the sky at 9 p.m. at night. We're in Santa Barbara, California, 34 degrees north latitude. We'll start off and look for a very bright red object in the sky towards the south-southwest. And this bright object is not a star, so you might recognize from its color, this is the planet Mars. Okay, that's Mars. And we're going to be looking immediately above and to the right of that. You'll see there's 4 stars that make a shape right here. And as I go through these constellations, see if you can predict the proper name, the common name, and if there is one, the nickname for that constellation. So these 4 stars, you want to recognize those. The proper name is Pegasus. That is Pegasus. Pegasus is the proper name. The common name is the flying horse. And the nickname, because of the shape, is known as the Great Square of Pegasus. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and try to focus on this particular star right here. The star is known as Alpheratz. You don't have to know that, but it actually doesn't belong to Pegasus. So even though it's part of the square, that star has been given to the next constellation in our series. And I'm going to show you from Alpheratz, you can point 1, 2, 3 more stars. This is a brighter branch that we're going to follow. And then there's right next to it, 1, 2, 3 stars that make a dimmer branch. So this is a constellation whose proper name is Andromeda. That's Andromeda. Andromeda is the proper name. The common name is the chained goddess. Now, there is a feature, a particular object in Andromeda that we want to focus on. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this star right here, and you'll notice this is from Alpheratz, is star number 2, right? And I'm gonna zoom in. Oh, it turned me around, but anyway, no problem. And I want to show you that if you look up from this star, you'll see a dimmer star. And then if you keep going in that same direction, about that distance, you find a fuzzy little object. Now you do need to know the name of that fuzzy little object. And you may know it as M31, but what you really need to know is it is the Andromeda Galaxy. So that is the nearest spiral galaxy to our Milky Way. It's 2.5 million light years away from us. And it is, of course, found in the constellation of Andromeda. So we'll go ahead and zoom back out and rotate the sky a little bit here, back to the way it was. All right. I'm going to jump down so here's Pegasus and Andromeda right next to it. I'm going to jump down to find this shape right here. There's 3 stars, and 2 of them are pretty bright, and the third one is kind of dim. But these 3 form an arc, and I want to learn the name of that constellation. So again, if I zoom in just a bit more, you can see 1, 2, 3 stars make a little arc. There's a few more stars in the background. This is known as Aries. Aries is the proper name. The common name, the Ram. And the reason I wanted to show you that is because Aries is going to point to a very difficult to see constellation. And this constellation is found, if you follow this arc over, you find this star right here. And again, you don't need to know that star. It is not a star, it is Alresha. But what you need to know is that it forms a shape that's very dim right here. But one branch of that shape comes up here, right next to Pegasus on this side. And the other branch goes over here to a circle of stars on this side of Pegasus. And this is, proper name, Pisces. And Pisces is the fishes plural. All right, so we have these three stars that make Aries. We have Andromeda right here, the chain goddess. In between, we'll find 1, 2, 3 stars. Lots of those in the sky, but these form a triangle. And this one, in fact, is known as triangulum, the triangle. All right. Now, at the foot of Andromeda, right here, we have a big, beautiful constellation. And this beautiful constellation at the foot of Andromeda is connected with the Andromeda mythology. So this shape that we see right here is called Perseus. And if you remember the story, you'll remember the common name of Perseus is the hero. Perseus is the proper name, common name is hero. And there is one star in particular that you want to learn, and that is this star here. And I'm going to turn on the artwork just to help see this picture. There's our hero, Perseus. And what is he holding, or what is tied to his belt? The head of the Medusa. And that star happens to be the eye of the Medusa. And the name of that star is Algol. Algol is also known as the demon star, or the eye of Medusa. Okay. All right, so Perseus right next to Andromeda, next to Pegasus and Aries and Triangulum. Let's jump down to a little tiny cluster right here of stars. And it is a beautiful cluster, bright cluster. You should be able to see it in the night sky if you look tonight. And this is known, I'm going to give you the number, as M45. M45 is also known as the Pleiades Cluster. Let's zoom in, take a look at it. So it's known as the Pleiades Cluster. Another name is the Seven Sisters. And one further name in Japanese is Subaru, which is exactly right. It's the Subaru car company's logo. So Subaru, the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades Cluster. This is an open cluster of stars that very beautiful stars that were born together. They're blue in color, which means they're very hot, and they are going to drift apart eventually and not stay together. Okay, so we're zooming back out. Now, nearby, we will look down the sky a little bit and see a golden yellow-orange star. This is actually a red supergiant star. I'm going to point it out to you because its name is beautiful. Its name is Aldebaran. Now, in Arabic, Aldebaran means the follower of the Pleiades. And the reason is because it will rise just after the Pleiades. And the Arabic astronomers knew that, and they named it appropriately. But another name for this star is the Eye of the Bull. So I want you to notice there's a V shape right here. And if you extend the V shape, you find this star here and this star here. And these are the horns of this constellation. The horns of, the proper name is Taurus, and the common name is the bull. So this is the eye of the bull. Now behind the V shape here is actually another cluster, and you really need a telescope to see that. And the name of this cluster is called the Hyades Cluster. So we don't really see it very well. In fact, it kind of doesn't really show up here. But when you look at that area of the sky, that little V shape in Taurus, the bull, you will notice it. It's quite obvious. And there's a lot of stars here. So it is known as the Hyades star cluster. All right. So let's go back to our Taurus, the bull horns. If you look at these horns right here, we get this bright star is at the end of the upper horn. And again, this one doesn't actually belong to Taurus. The star Elna, oh yes it does, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It belongs to Taurus. But we will also see it as part of a bigger shape right here. And this shape is a constellation. In fact, this star, let's learn the star first, is a very, very bright star. And if you like to sing, it'll be easy for you to remember the name of the star. The name of the star is very similar to the name of a singer who sings without accompaniment. And you might remember that's called a cappella, but this star is just Capella, right? That's Capella. And Capella is the brightest star in this grouping of stars, which is a constellation, right? This grouping of constellations. So this constellation is known as Auriga, Auriga, and Auriga is the charioteer. Now, interestingly enough, Capella means goat, and the charioteer is said to go home at night after working all day as a charioteer and take care of his goats. And this is, in fact, the mama goat. That's the mama goat. Well, for those of you interested, there's 1, 2, 3 stars right next door, and astronomers have given them a nickname. They're called the kids. And if you remember, a kid is another name for a baby goat. Now that is Capella in the constellation of Auriga, the charioteer. All right, now we come to one of our boldest, brightest constellations in the sky. It is a tremendous winter constellation. It rises exactly in the east and sets exactly in the west because it is essentially on the celestial equator. So this is the constellation whose proper name is Orion. Orion is the hunter. And we're going to learn the 4 stars that wrap around the shape of Orion. So there's the 3 stars that make the belt. We don't learn the names of those, but we'll learn the 4 stars that wrap around the outside edge. And you should learn them in order if you can. I'm going to present them to you in an order. This is Betelgeuse, a red supergiant, Betelgeuse. The next one over is Bellatrix, Bellatrix right here. The next one is Rigel, a blue supergiant. And the last one is called Saiph, S-A-I-P-H, Saiph. So these are the 4 stars that go around Orion, the mighty hunter. Now you can see there's a shield right here, and above his head there's a club. I think we can see that. A little bit different, but anyways, there you go. Okay, next door to Orion, let's look over here. Remember, the star was Capella in Auriga, the charioteer. Below Capella, we have a pair of twin stars. Now they're really not the same brightness, but so they're not really twins. But if you turn on the lines, you do see a pair of brothers. They are a pair of brothers. And so what is the proper name of that constellation, this whole region of the sky? It is known as Gemini, the twins. Gemini, the twins. And the brothers' names are Castor and Pollux. And a little trick to remember is if Capella is here, the brother whose name begins with a C is right next to it. Well, that must be Castor. So Castor is the star that's closer to Capella. The other brother is Pollux. Pollux is the other star. It happens to be brighter. Okay, moving down, we have a bright star, one dim star. That's the whole constellation. That's it. The nickname is the hot dog constellation, but that's just a joke. The real name is, the proper name is Canis Minor. That's Canis Minor. Canis Minor means little dog. And this star, which is in Canis Minor, this bright star, is called Procyon. Now you'll notice Procyon begins with the letter P, and Pollux begins with the letter P. The 2 P stars are next to each other, and the 2 C stars, Castor and Capella, are also next to each other. So that's a nice little trick to learn if you're learning these stars. And we're now on to our last constellation. So if you look down, the stars that make the belt of Orion, if you trace them down, they almost point to this star. This star is the brightest star in the night sky. So that's something to remember. And if you know the name, then you know the name is Sirius. Sirius is also called the dog star, which of course it should be because it's in a constellation. The constellation has a proper name of, we're looking for Canis Major. Canis Major, which means the big dog. So here are our winter constellations with their labels and the names, and you can see them all. arranged for us. Okay, we don't learn everything, but we learned a bunch of them tonight. We had Pegasus, the flying horse, also called the Great Square, Andromeda, the chained goddess. We had Aries, the ram, Pisces, the fishes, Triangulum, the triangle, Perseus, the hero, Taurus, the bull, Auriga, the charioteer, Orion, the mighty hunter, Orion the hunter, Gemini, the twins, Canis Minor, the little dog, and Canis Major, the big dog, along with a whole bunch of objects. So thank you for your attention, and we'll see you under the skies. Thank you.